What is this Chinese observation vessel capable of, and why is India so concerned? The Chinese vessel named Yuan Wang 5 is a research and survey vessel equipped with the latest technology to track satellites and space objects. This ship is operated by the People's Liberation Army Strategic Support Force of the People's Republic of China. The Indian Economic Times reported that this vessel has more lethal capabilities compared to the Chinese submarine that arrived in the Sea of Sri Lanka back in 2014. The report highlights that this ship has an aerial reach of more than 750 kilometers, and that would indirectly mean that the Kalpakkam, Kodankulam and the Atomic Research Center within Indian borders can be snooped upon. It adds that as many as 6 South Indian ports will be under China's focus, and the ship can gather details about vital installations along southern India. Where is this ship now? The controversial Chinese observation vessel Yuan Wang 5 is currently 2,821 nautical miles off the coast of Sri Lanka and is sailing towards the Hambantota port. Yuan Wang 5 is currently sailing at 18 knots and is in the Philippine Sea. According to international marine tracking data, the ship is due to reach the Sea of Sri Lanka on the 11th of August. Was the ship granted permission to enter the Sea of Sri Lanka? Days after denying reports of the scheduled arrival of the Chinese vessel and following India's clear message about carefully monitoring the development, Sri Lanka's Ministry of Defence yesterday confirmed to The Hindu that the vessel was granted clearance to call at the Hambantota port. Why is this ship coming to Sri Lanka? Speaking to The Hindu, Sri Lanka's Defence Ministry media spokesperson Colonel Nalin Herath said the vessel will be in Hambantota from the 11th of August to the 17th, mainly for replenishment, including fuel. Reports of the vessel Yuan Wang 5 involved in space and satellite tracking came to New Delhi's notice earlier this week, and External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Aridam Bagchi told the weekly media briefing that India carefully monitors any developments having a bearing on its security and economic interests. What was China's response? Soon after this, the Reuters news agency reported that China said it hopes that relevant parties would refrain from interfering with its legitimate maritime activities. The remark indicated that the Chinese vessel's arrival could potentially leave Sri Lanka caught between India's and Beijing's interests once again. While the Ministry of Defence in Colombo did not explain why it had earlier denied the vessel's arrival, Colonel Herath said, quote-unquote, such vessels periodically come from various countries such as India, China, Japan, Australia. It is nothing unusual. However, geostrategic analysts are closely watching the developments given past tensions between Sri Lanka and India, especially after Sri Lanka allowed a Chinese nuclear-powered submarine, Changzheng 2, to dock at its port in 2014. On a prior occasion in 2021, a Chinese ship carrying uranium hexafluoride, which is classified as dangerous cargo, entered the Hambantota port without any permission. However, according to Reuters, India has lodged a verbal protest with the government of Sri Lanka against the ship's arrival.
This series of events comes at a time when Sri Lanka's economy is vulnerable and dependent on India and China. So far, India has provided close to $4 billion in assistance to Sri Lanka, and on the other hand, the IMF has insisted that Sri Lanka negotiate with China and restructure debts owed to China. In other words, Sri Lanka's IMF assistance now depends on China. This is clearly more than just an issue involving a ship. A very complex geopolitical situation which affects Sri Lanka's economy and the future of our country is at play.